everybody, it's Allie, and welcome to our YNR chat for Sunday, September 16th, 2012. So much is going on with YNR right now, on screen and behind the scenes, so let's just jump right in with the thing that really shook me this week. My favorite part of the week, by far. Paul finally smashes open that snow globe, and it was such a revelation moment, like, oh, this is finally gonna be the thing to get Paul off the hook, because inside of the snow globe, as we all guessed, was a flash drive. And I assumed, I think pretty much all of us assumed, that there was going to be video on the flash drive that was confirming that Ricky killed his girlfriend in cold blood, and he decided to keep it on a flash drive and stash it away just as a keepsake so he could watch over and over in his sick, disgusting mind. But that is so not what was on the drive. I nearly dropped my jaw when they pressed play and it was a rant of Ricky's, a soliloquy, him talking to the camera about how he was afraid of his dad. And it essentially said, if anything ever happens to me, you need to look at Paul. He's been hounding me. He has this idea in his head that there's something wrong with me, but it's really him. And he just goes on this long spiel about how innocent he is and about how guilty Paul is, and it was such a shock. I can't even tell you guys how happy I was to see it. You should have heard me squeal at the screen. I could barely contain myself because I feel like nothing has been this exciting on YNR since Ricky left. I thought Ricky added a lot of zazz to the show. He really spiced things up in a good way. I honestly, frankly, felt like the whole Ricky storyline helped kind of replace Adam for me, since Adam lost his balls. I felt like Ricky was the new Adam, and I loved every single moment of it. I do think that it was far-fetched that he hid this flash drive in the snow globe, and it was the one thing that wasn't destroyed when Heather threw out all of his things. Like, did he hide the flash drive in all of his belongings hoping someone would find it? Or was it just a coincidence that he hid it in that snow globe? And why would he hide it so well? If he wanted the police or someone to find it, why wouldn't he make it a little bit more obvious? It was almost as if he was counting on his father's PI skills, his intuition. I think, wanted them to have this moment. I think the whole thing played out exactly the way Ricky would have wanted, but his laptop and the knife are still missing from the scene, which I think goes to prove that the whole thing was a setup. To me, this validates my theory that Ricky is still alive. I didn't believe he was dead on the day he died. I don't believe that he is dead now. I think he set this whole thing up from the beginning, and I am relishing every single moment that Peter Port was back on screen, because I think it's the most exciting thing going on. I think that's such a great twist if he's still alive, and I really hope that they bring Peter Port back, bring Ricky back, and let's finish this up right. We need a villain, man. So I think we need to keep him on screen, bring him back, and I think that the thing that really draws me to Ricky is the fact that he was a villain, he is a villain, but he also has that sensitive side to him, or not sensitive, but just there's a reason behind what he does. And that's the way I always felt about Adam, that yeah, he was bad, but you kind of understood what his motivation was, and it's much the same as Ricky's motivation, this feeling of abandonment with the father. And to me, that is compelling. That makes a compelling villain, and I don't think that Ricky intended to set Paul up for his murder all along. I don't think it was some kind of month and month and month long thing. I don't think he came into Genoa City in the first place to set Paul up. I think, personally, that Ricky came into town with good intentions. I think he wanted maybe to get to know Paul, but he was just being Ricky. He went off, took those photos of Heather, just being Ricky, thinking maybe that his father would understand the need to pursue one's career. I mean, no doubt that Ricky is twisted. No doubt that he's messed up. But I think he wanted to connect with his father, and along the way, as Paul realized, whoa, he's a sick puppy, it turned Ricky toward Paul. It helped him turn his anger and his twistedness toward Paul. So I think that Ricky faked his own death and is setting Paul up for the murder, and I think that it was something that developed maybe within the last month of his quote-unquote life. I just don't think he planned it all along. But this flash drive, this video, instead of getting Paul saved just like Ricky would want, it's getting Paul in deeper. It's causing even bigger of a mess, because as soon as they found the flash drive, they realized, uh-oh, we don't want to tamper with this evidence. So Avery and Heather, who were also there, asked Paul, you know, we gotta call Michael. And Paul was like, okay, let's get Michael over here. Let's all watch the video together. So it's Avery and Heather and Paul and Michael watching this video, and unfolding this statement by Ricky, which makes Paul look even guiltier. And the thing that bothers me too is that instead of turning a blind eye, as things developed, it was kind of like, ooh, Paul's face while he was watching the video was so choked up and red, and Michael was like, ooh, everybody in Avery, they're all like, ooh, this is not good. This is not good at all. This is not what we were expecting. And instead of turning a blind eye, Michael, at the end of the whole thing, tells Paul that, sorry, I'm going to use this against you. This looks bad. I'm going to use this against you. Why? I thought Michael understood that Paul wasn't guilty. I thought Michael was going to help Paul get out of this mess. Michael is the one who brought Isabella into Paul's life in the first place. If it weren't for Michael, Isabella never would have gotten hooked up with Paul. They never would have had Ricky. This whole situation never would have happened. So as far as I'm concerned, I think Michael owes Paul a lot. Michael did a lot of bad stuff to Paul and Christine to try to keep them apart because he wanted Christine for himself. And he just, in general, was a very, very shady character. And I wonder why Michael can't just pretend that he didn't see it. I feel like Michael should want Paul to get off the hook so that Lauren doesn't have to testify. Lauren has told him, look, I'm sorry if this is going to make Paul look more guilty. I'm going to have to come forward. I'm the one that got him the gun. The gun that he had on him makes the murder look premeditated, and I want to tell the judge that it wasn't, that he took the gun from me, and Michael doesn't want that. Obviously, he doesn't want to have to grill his wife on the stand. There was this gross moment between Michael and Lauren, who are my favorite couple on the show, by the way, but just this moment where, like, what is happening to Michael? He said to her something like, if you tell the truth, if you go public with this information, then you know I'm gonna have to, you've seen the way I grill people on the stand, you know I'm gonna have to come at you with everything I've got, which is a phrase I don't even ever care if I hear again. It seems like every lawyer in Genoa City, when they're wanting to make a threat to somebody, that's what they say. They say, oh, you know, I'm gonna come after you with everything I got. And for Michael to say that to Lauren just really ticks me off. Like, since when is Michael Mr. Morality? Since when is the oath that Michael took more important than his family? Michael has bent the law on more than one occasion to save them. Sharon shows up at Fairview, at the mental institution, and she runs smack dab into Daisy. In an awful wig, by the way. Daisy's wig is horrible. Why couldn't they have gotten something better? What's even the point of having her in a wig? She's hiding from Ricky, so she decided to cut her hair, and that's the only thing she did? I don't get it. The wig needs to go, okay? It looks real, real bad. But Sharon discovers Daisy, and she tells Sharon that she's given a fake name to hide from Ricky at the mental institution. And for some reason, she had no clue that Daniel had been charged with her murder. She had no idea that Ricky was dead. She had no idea what was going on with Paul. Don't they have newspapers in the mental institution? I would think that they would at least give them magazines and newspapers and stuff to read. I am shocked with all of the press coverage that Daisy's death probably got. And, I mean, crying out loud, the GCPD was all over it for a couple of weeks. You can't tell me her face wasn't in a paper and one of the staff didn't see it. That's just totally ridiculous. But at first, the confrontation, or the meeting between Sharon and Daisy was super tense. Daisy is saying to Sharon, please, begging Sharon, please tell them who I am. Tell them you know who I am. I used a fake name to get in here and now they're not going to believe me. And Sharon doesn't want to help. She's not ready to go out of her way for Daisy. I'm not entirely sure why that Sharon was so mean to Daisy. It seems like there was a lot of really huge tension between them. I mean, they were kind of quipping back and forth. Sharon even chastised Daisy for leaving her child, for abandoning her child, saying, oh, well, you're hiding out in this mental institution and it doesn't seem like you really cared about your child on the outside. Okay, Sharon, I'm sorry, but do you remember like a year ago when you faked your own death to save your butt and left your children to think that you were dead? Totally hypocritical. And I don't understand where Sharon's hostility toward Daisy is even coming from. Maybe I don't remember something, but Daisy did save, or I don't know, she didn't save. Daisy was trying to create an alliance with Sharon while they were in jail so that Avery would help her get out, and she did, but I don't know. What was it? I guess Sharon had some probably reason to get angry with Daisy, but I don't remember what it was, sorry. Nevertheless, Daisy's in there hiding from Ricky. I also don't understand why she would hide from him locally. Like, she ran to Canada when she was running from the law. Why would she just hide from Ricky right down the street? Ricky's far more dangerous and she's just hiding right up the street. Kind of weird. I don't know. I don't get it. But Sharon doesn't want to tell the doctors who Daisy is, and Daisy finally convinces her, and Sharon does confirm, oh, you know, yes, I think I do recognize her. That might actually be Daisy Carter. And then Daisy says, thank you, but, you know, I'm not really going to be able to get out of here right away, though. The doctors have to confirm that as well. They take her fingerprints, and they're going to try to confirm it, but Daisy asks Sharon to tell her family that she's okay. She asks her to go to Daniel and let him know that she is still alive, but Sharon has her own problems. She's not really interested in helping out Daisy. So Daisy gets this brilliant idea in her head that she's just going to take a bunch of pills and get sent to the emergency room so that can help her break out of there. And of course, as soon as she starts swallowing pill after pill after pill, her fingerprints come back. The doctors get a match on her fingerprints, and also Ronan gets a phone call that there was a match on those fingerprints. So we're only a couple of moments away from everyone in Genoa City realizing that Daisy is still alive. Just wait until Daisy realizes that Daniel has moved on and he's with Heather, and wait until Heather finds out that Daniel is still a married man. That's gonna put a little cramp in their sexual tryst. Things are cooking at Fairview for sure. Because meanwhile, Sharon is undergoing her evaluation, and another question I have is, why is Sharon being so forthcoming with the doctors? I would think that if it was me, I would just white knuckle my way through it. I wouldn't give them any more information than they needed to know, but she's opening up, really telling them everything. Maybe it's just she wants to appear to be honest or something, I don't know, but she did go ahead and open up to the doctors, especially after she started having nightmares. It was at this mental institution where she lost her child, and we got those flashbacks of Nick, or of Sharon, going through that horrible just horrible, sweaty miscarriage, or quote-unquote miscarriage, and Nick coming in, and Sharon believing that she lost the baby, and those were really hard times for Sharon. It was difficult to rewatch, to relive, but at the same time, she talked it through with the doctors. She made it through the whole 72-hour evaluation, and she made it out. She's back on the street, back into the office, and just stay tuned next week because the doctor is going to give his ruling next week, and we'll find out if she's going to be able to resume her position at Newman or if she's going to be just out on the street or back at the ranch redecorating full time. Even if Sharon gets reinstated as the CEO of Newman Enterprises, she's still going to have to deal with Victoria and Nick because in the 72 hours that Victoria has been in control, she went around and had each of the board members sign a contract that says that no matter what, Nick and Victoria can't be fired from the company unless they have complete board approval. So that was a sneaky yet good move by Victoria. I genuinely do think that Victoria is doing what's best for the company, but I also think she loves being in control, and there's a part of me that's just bothered by her. She irritates me a little bit. I feel like now that she's gotten what she wants, now she's starting to worry about Victor, and I think that says a lot about her motives. She was not worried as much about Victor until she got her hands on the company, and now stocks are up, and I honestly think that there's a huge part of Victoria that when Victor comes back, she wants to be able to say, "See, Daddy, look, Daddy, I did it. Everything is good at Newman," and so that he can praise her for saving the company from Sharon's evil clutches. I really think that that's what Victoria's motivation was. It bothers me though that she was the first person to bow out of Victor's search effort. As soon as he went missing, remember, everybody was at the ranch, Nick, they were all wondering where he went and making phone calls, and Victoria was the first person to grab her bag, walk out the door, and say, you know what, he's probably just being Victor, and forget it, he'll be fine. And now it bothers me that it's taken her this long to become concerned about him, and Billy has the information that she needs. All she wants to know is that he's safe whenever her conscience decided to kick in. She wants to know that her father's safe. Billy could easily tell her that he's safe, and he's not doing it. He's had several opportunities to tell her, and I wonder what you guys think about that. Do you think that Billy should be telling her? I mean, I know that Victor did the same thing and far worse to him, but a lie's a lie, and he's definitely keeping it from her, and when she finds out, she's not going to be very happy with him. And instead of doing the right thing, it seems like Billy is mostly just interested in, like, letting her have this power play. He's enjoying letting her put on her sexy business suits and prance around and, pretend to be the overlord of Newman Enterprises. He seems to be content to let her be happy with that, which is funny. They had that scene in Victor's office this week because it feels like they were getting all sexy. He's telling her how sexy she is and they're smooching. And it feels like as soon as anybody ever takes control of Newman Enterprises, the first thing they do is have sex in the big office. Like, everybody gets it on in there. It's the same thing Adam did. So I'm just waiting for Sharon to have sex with Tucker or Victoria to have sex with Billy or somebody. So I think we're due for a sex scene in Victor's office as his giant portrait on the wall is staring. I think this is one of those situations where everybody says family's more important than business and they don't show it. Because there was a moment this week where Sarge revealed that he had a family member or a friend that was lost in the World Trade Towers on 9/11. And so he was connecting with Jack over this moment and trying to tell Jack, as important as business is to you, you need to remember that your family is more important. And just, by the way, can Sarge please wear something besides his physical therapy branded collared shirt, dark blue shirt? Like, can he get an outfit change? I know that's shallow of me, but I need to see Sergeant something else. He went into the athletic club later in the week, or right after, I think he went to Jack's house, and he was in his polo, his physical therapy polo, and I'm like, God, this guy needs an outfit change. But he does connect with Jack in that moment about family, and it made Jack call Abby and Billy and Victoria and Kyle all over to the Abbott house to have a connecting moment with his family. He wanted to let them know that business isn't more important and that he wants to take a moment to appreciate the ones that he loves. And Victoria, of course, is there as well, saying, yes, yes, I agree. And it's literally like a nice sentiment that lasted for a day. That's it. You know, as soon as it's all over, Victoria's finding out about Jack buying up Newman shares. He now owns 5% of those stocks, and they talk again, and it's family out the window, and it's these people's priorities are really, really whack. And plus, by the way, if Jack is so into family, why did he edge Ashley out of the company? What he needs to do is call Ashley and apologize to her and bring her back to Genoa City. I miss Ashley. He should have done that. I mean, he's all excited about the fact that he's walking with his cane, finally out of the wheelchair, and he was excited to tell Ashley about it. We need Ashley back. Ashley is too far gone, and soon so shall her daughter be. Huge casting news, you guys. Marcy Rylan as Abby is out. She's been cut. She's fired. She's done. She's gone. I think she's going to be taping her final scenes. I think they said in early October, but she is definitely on her way out. Which, I'm going to be honest, I think it's all right. I'm all right with Abby leaving. I've had a really hard time connecting with her recently. She is very, very immature. I just really didn't care for the her and Carmine story. And I don't think it was Marcy Rylan's fault by any means. I think that she did a great job portraying the role. And it was interesting at first with the naked heiress, and it was very shocking. And I do like Marcy Rylan. I just think that the character of Abby was not focused at all. She was just fluttering around. They weren't really doing anything meaningful with her. She was just, I mean, even for the last month, she's just been peeking in and out of scenes. She really hasn't had any kind of central storyline of her own. She really hasn't had a storyline of her own in a while. So I think that the character of Abby, yes, is a legacy character, as she is both a Newman and an Abbott, and that is important. However, I think that it might be a good idea to just let her exit gracefully off the scene, and then bring her back later when you have something to do for her. You know, I think that would be a good thing to do. If they weren't going to focus on her, then alright, let her go, bring her back later, and maybe something good will come of that. But for now, you guys, say goodbye to Abby. And while you're saying your goodbyes, save one for Genevieve, because Genie Francis is out officially. She's been fired from the show as well. Oh my gosh, casting updates galore. Alright, I'm gonna be honest with you guys. You know how I feel. You really do. I mean, I've talked about it extensively. I have never debated how awesome Genie Francis is, and she's probably a really cool person too, but I don't feel like she ever really clicked on Y&R. I'm sure that has mostly to do with the writers, because when she first came on, she was creepy, but then they got her involved with Jack, and she started falling in love for the first time, and they had a sweet little romance, and I thought, well, good, finally, someone for Jack. Jack deserves to be happy too. But then she double-crossed him and started following Victor around and wanting to be his little protege, and it just got to be icky. I never have felt connected, or that there's a reason I'm supposed to feel connected with the Samantha thing that's going on, so they cut her. They're cutting her, and I have to say I really think it was a good move. I don't feel like they were using her. I mean, like, Genie Francis is awesome, but the character just, they weren't hitting it right. Something was just not clicking for me, and I think for a lot of other people. But at the same time, I'm sure there are going to be a lot of fans who are very upset at it. But I'm sure there's good things that are going to come for her. Certainly, she always probably has a home in Port Charles, so I wouldn't be surprised at all if you guys got to see her back on General Hospital sometime soon. The odd thing about this happening now is that I almost have started to like her a little bit more recently, because she's the only one who knows about Victor, and even though several people know about Victor, and she's the only one who is doing anything about it, or who is actually keeping his best interests in mind. She is at least trying to keep an eye on him, which is a whole lot more than we can say for Billy or for Tucker. She's actually there, and that has endeared me to her a little bit here at the end. She has taken a job as the barkeep of this bar that we're in, this dingy, dark, dank bar that we're in. I can't wait to get out of this bar, you guys. I don't like the Jimmy's set, and I don't like this set, which is probably just a version of that. I don't know, I don't like being in dark, dank bars. Why not? I like keeping it a little more classy, and we're just not there right now. But Genevieve ratted out the current barkeep. She found out that he was on the run from the law, and so she called the cops on him, had him hauled away so that she could get his job. That was rude. Very rude, poor guy. But I'm glad that she's keeping an eye on Victor, because Victor has become, wow, what's the name of that movie? Oh, dang, it's got Marlon Brando in it, and he's rallying up the dock workers. I think it's like a perfect parallel to this classic Marlon Brando movie that I can't think of the name but Victor is trying to rally up the dock workers to get better working conditions, because one of them got hurt, and Victor is now becoming this leader. He wants them to get safe working conditions, and he's trying to rile up the guys and be almost like a union kind of leader sort of guy. And he's like it's funny, because even though Victor is lost, he doesn't really know who he is, he still has all of the same Victor Newman moves. Like, instead of having his huge desk and comfy chair, his desk is now a bar stool and a table. And it's funny to see him he's almost like taking meetings and making decisions there, but it's good to see him like giving these speeches. He's talking about, you know, down with the man, only Victor Newman is the man. It's very weird. Yeah, he's gone from white collar to blue collar hero, and it's interesting to see. I am enjoying seeing Victor as a hero again. Finally, that's exactly what I need from Victor. I want Victor to be my hero. I don't want him to be a villain or someone that I'm feeling frustrated with. So this is definitely helping to get Victor back into my good graces, because especially now that he's trying to rile up these guys, there are forces that don't want that. These, the bosses at the dock don't want to give the guys better working conditions. They don't want them to get lawyers and know what their rights are. They want cheap labor. And Victor's in there stirring up the pot and causing trouble. And it ended up getting him jumped. He ended up getting beat up from behind. His hand is all hurt. And I hate seeing Victor hurt. That is hard for me. It's like Victor is this strong, always strong figure, and to see him down is hard. I mean, to me, like, I see Victor, I see some of my father in Victor, and it is hard for me to see him down and out, and he's holding his hand, and he's welled up in tears with Genevieve and Sister Celeste around him trying to help him, and he doesn't want to go to the hospital, and he finally breaks down and says, I don't want to go to the hospital because I don't even know who I am. What if I'm on run from the law? But just the I don't know who I am frustration that he's experiencing. There's these little glimmers of moments where he just takes my heart and just rips it out. I absolutely welled up. As soon as he said that, I don't know who I am, I got teary. It's hard to watch, and I find it hard to believe that he doesn't know who he doesn't recognize Genevieve at all. Nikki is on the hunt trying to get a hold of Victor. She gets a little tip from very bitter Jack that Genevieve is also not in town anymore, and they start connecting the dots that maybe Genevieve and Victor are together, and she gets a hold of Genevieve's cell phone number and calls her, and there's this moment where Victor sees it's Genevieve's cell phone, sees that it's Nikki Newman calling, and he doesn't even connect it. He doesn't even know that that's the love of his life. He's out there searching for who he is and who his loved ones might be that miss him, and it's Nikki right there, and it's heartbreaking. And it is, again, ironic because I feel like it's a little bit heartbreaking on Genevieve's end too, because she wants to tell him who she is, who he is. She wants to get him the help. She wants to, get him back into his family and with the people that love him, and she's over her head pretending to be a nurse because he keeps getting hurt. If he doesn't have chest pains, he's got a broken hand, and here she, they're turning to her as the nurse, asking her to splint his hurt hand, and she's down behind the bar Googling how to splint a hand. So I have sympathy for her too. I want her and would feel redemption for her as well. Like, this whole bar is a redemption moment, because I would feel good if she just finally did the right thing and decided to help him. Like, she needs to realize that some things are more important than money. It's more important than the money that Tucker's giving you or the money that Billy's giving you. She should know that by now. She should have learned that lesson by now. Like, Tucker is being such a jerk. She calls him to say, he's hurt, and I don't think it's right. I don't feel right keeping him away from his family anymore. And Tucker says to her, I'm not paying you to have a conscience. Ugh. I hate this man. I don't think I could hate this man anymore at this point. I wish that Genevieve would get a conscience, tell Tucker to piss off, and bring Victor back to Genoa City. And the number 3 shocking casting update, Debbie Morgan as Harmony is also out. She's been let go from the show, which you guys probably saw coming. I didn't necessarily see coming. I really like her. I loved Harmony and Neil. I thought that they had a really good connection, but it seems like every time I talked about Harmony and Neil, everyone else was like, nope, not feeling it, don't care. So I have to bow to majority rules here. I guess if the storyline was working for me, but it apparently was not working for everyone, and if that's the case, then sorry to see her go, but I guess it had to be done. I mean, I think that in some ways it did make Neil look bad, the way he wanted Sofia, stole her away from Malcolm, got her knocked up, and then tossed her aside. Didn't want her anymore. Like, and it doesn't make him look good, furthermore, that we see more of Neil with Harmony than we do with his newborn son and the son's mother. But a little bit more casting news. Officially, Julia Pace Mitchell, Sofia, has now dropped to recurring status. So they're knocking out Harmony, not necessarily bringing Sofia back anymore. So she's the mother of Neil's newborn child. She's probably going to make appearances here and there, but for the most part, she's out. Although at the same time, like, how can you even really tell that she's recurring? Because she's pretty much been recurring now for the last month or so. She hasn't been on the scene since her and Neil divorced. So, and they never really did anything. They just didn't do that character right. It could have been a lot better, and they just, I think, kind of screwed it up. But it lends to bigger questions with Harmony out, Sofia dropping off. We heard last week that Lily is gone. What's left of the Winters family? I mean, can Devon be very far behind? I doubt it. I wouldn't be surprised if we saw Brighton kicked off the show sooner rather than later. And it concerns me because I feel like, dang it, the writers just can't seem to get the Winters family right. They just can't seem to focus on them, which I don't know why it's so hard. Why can't you write for the Winters? I worry about what's going to happen to Neil, because it is unacceptable if they just write off the Winters altogether. Unacceptable. Neil needs to be on the show, and he needs to have he needs to have a family around him, and he needs to be integrated with the rest of the cast. He needs to be working with them day to day. I'm tired of seeing him isolated, and I'm tired of seeing him floundering. They need to do something with him, and I can't help but wonder, just from little rumblings that I've been hearing, I'm wondering if the Y&R head honchos might be just cleaning house to make room for Drew's return. I have no interest at all in Adam or Chelsea. The whole runaround about Chelsea trying to hide her pregnancy, it doesn't matter to me at all. The most interesting thing that came out of all of that was that Chloe learns Chelsea is pregnant and she runs out and buys a dog. I don't know if that means that Chelsea feels like, or that Chloe feels like her biological clock is ticking. Maybe she's a little jealous or something. I don't know what was up with that. As soon as Jeff specifically finds out that Chelsea's pregnant, I think the dollar signs you could see in his eyes, and he rushes right over there to bring her a gift, and Chelsea is very annoyed by this. She doesn't want Jeff to use this baby as a way to get money out of her, and Jeff has this moment where he tries to tell her he doesn't want to use her. He is very happy that she's pregnant because that means that even though she didn't have a dad, that she has a chance at having a family, blah, blah, blah. I don't buy it at all. I don't believe a word that's coming out of Jeff's mouth right now. I absolutely think he has motives. I can't believe that Gloria is still standing by him. Why is Gloria still with Jeff? Isn't he married to another woman? He lied to her. He's lied to her repeatedly. I don't understand Gloria at this point. Gloria used to be a main character. She was married to John Abbott. She was right in the thick of it. She was always in and around Jack and the Abbotts, and now she's nothing. She's just a hostess. And that's fine. I think that Genoa City needs a hostess. I mean, do you guys remember Gina Romalotti? Gina was Genoa City's hostess for a long time. Gina's, she had an Italian restaurant, which I'm pretty sure was the athletic club's predecessor. I think that, if I remember, I think Gina's restaurant burned down, and then what was built up after it was the athletic club, and I think even Gina may have worked there for a little while before she left, but I don't know. I was just thinking about Genoa City's hostesses, because that's really all that Gloria is. They either need to do something with Gloria to make us care, or they need to get rid of her too. I don't like to say it because I really want to like Gloria's character. I think she's got a lot of potential. I'm okay. I like her. I like seeing her on screen. I'm fine with it, but let's just ditch these half-hearted storylines. Before I forget to mention it, I think it's too bad about Phyllis's red hair being gone. I like Phyllis as a redhead, and now it seems that it's a deep brown with a bit of a red hint, but I like her as a light red. Maybe they're just doing this for fall. Maybe she'll lighten it up and do a little more crazy red in the spring and summer, but I didn't want to forget to mention that because it's definitely noteworthy. So Ronan is going way out of his way to tamper with evidence in Phyllis's case. He sent a plane ticket and money to Beth, Dr. Reed's lover, just so as she was set up to go on this media tour. She was going to go around and tell everybody everything she knows, and that wasn't good for anyone, so Ronan kind of got rid of her, and I think he's hoping to help Phyllis and Kevin, but at the same time, I feel like Kevin is just a side note. Kevin has just, at this point, become another casualty of Hurricane Phyllis, just like everybody else in her life. I don't know why Kevin is listening to Phyllis in the first place. I don't know why he got involved in the first place. It was funny at the time, but I don't know why he would get involved with her mess. And furthermore, I don't know why he's listening to Phyllis and not telling Michael the truth. Why is he listening to Phyllis and not Michael? Why is he not listening to his brother who's helped him out of many jams? Michael gave him another opportunity this week to come clean, and you could tell that Michael really, really wanted to help him. Like, my brother, you're in some serious trouble here, let me help you. And Kevin just could not do it. The only thing he was able to do was to finally confide in Chloe. And Chloe hit the roof. I mean, Kevin's position is slightly understandable. I only went over there to help Phyllis I only went over there to ask Phyllis about working on the website, and she roped me into this whole thing, and with my history, I knew that the cops wouldn't believe me, so he tells her the truth. She is so upset. He also tells her that Ronan is trying to help. He's kind of behind it. And I wonder, now that she's found out that Ronan is involved, I wonder if she will confront him. Because Chloe and Ronan have a history, and I'm wondering if she's maybe going to go, I don't know, lay into him, and she can just join the club, because literally Ronan is everyone's punching bag right now. He's trying to do something to help, and nobody is grateful at all except for Phyllis. But I actually do like that Nick tried to get physical with Ronan again last week. Last week, Nick got physical with him this week. Nick hit Ronan last week, and then this week they're confronting each other again, and Nick grabs Ronan and tries to get physical with him, tries to rough him up a little bit, and I really like that Ronan was like, no bitch, you hit me once, I'll let you get away with that, you're not gonna do it again. I thought that was awesome. Like, sorry Nick, but Ronan could kick your butt, and you can pretty much bully everyone else in Genoa City, but Ronan would pound you to smithereens. So I was kind of glad. I just thought that was a nice little moment. Like, finally, Ronan's not going to take it anymore, and Nick's not going to get away with just hammering people. Ugh. But the confrontation between Nick and Ronan also revealed some interesting information. Nick is wondering why Ronan is going out of his way to help Phyllis, and he straight up asked her, why would you do this? And Ronan's response was, because Nick, I want her bad. Talk about the line of the week. I want her bad. Can we not get more creative with these lines? Like, I'm surprised that Jeff Branson can even do these lines with a straight face. Like, caveman Ronan, want woman bad now. Ronan, caveman Ronan, smash things. It's just ridiculous. Caveman Ronan want to pound something. He's totally one-dimensional at this point. I don't know why it's happening. He even said to Nick something like, she's the one that finally got through to me. Please. Like, if Ronan had shown any interest or remorse for having to leave Genoa City when he left Genoa City, like, if I had gotten a vibe that, like, oh, he's really torn for having to leave Phyllis, then maybe I could come back and be down with this, with his reasoning, but I'm having a hard time buying that Ronan is now suddenly in love with Phyllis. He told Nick that when he went away, he realized that he really loved her. She was the one. She's the one that finally got to him. Please. But it's happening. I've actually heard a couple people say that they do like Ronan and Phyllis together and that they're feeling it. So good. That's good. I mean, I'm glad if some people are into it. I'm having a hard time with it. It's just, I'm surprised it's happening, and Nick is leaving Phyllis, so it probably is, like, gonna progress. I mean, Nick should just let Ronan have Phyllis then. Seriously, let someone else deal with her problems. Nick told Phyllis, runs back and tells Phyllis that Ronan's doing what he's doing because he's in love with her. I think Nick probably assumed that Phyllis knew that already, but he tells it to her, and she seemed really shocked, really unexpecting of that, and it's just caused a whole big mess in her life. Everything that Phyllis does snowballs into something bigger, a bigger mess, and I can't believe that Nick isn't just tired of it. Summer found out that Phyllis was cheating with Ronan because they're keeping up appearances, keeping up this lie, keeping up this alibi. I don't care about Summer at all. It's painful for me to see Summer on screen. She's just so, I don't know if precocious is the word. It's overacty. It's just too much. I don't enjoy the scenes between her and Michelle Stafford. I don't believe that they're mother and daughter. I don't like her. Like, Summer, she is so angry with Phyllis being a typical teenage brat. But then again, maybe that's what I'm supposed to feel. She's being a teenage brat, and that's exactly how I see her. So maybe she's hitting it right on the mark. I don't know, because I want to smack her. But as Summer is so upset that her mom is cheating on her dad, she runs right out and decides she's going to do something wild, like get a bottle of vodka and drink it in public at the back of Crimson Lights with Fen, roping Fen into this whole thing. I hope that this is not going to turn into another teen drinking storyline. Blah, blah, blah. I will be so annoyed if I have to sit through that. Like, the only good teen rebel storyline was when Colleen started smoking pot. Frankly, that was the best. I think she was living with Brad at the time, and I don't know who she was hanging out with or what she was doing, but she was sneak smoking pot up in her room for a couple of months, and that was awesome. Like, that was the only good teen rebel storyline that I actually enjoyed. I feel sorry for Fen getting wrapped up in Summer's nonsense. He's kind of a wimp. He's not what I would think Michael's son would be. He's a little bit of a follower, and he's clearly got stars in his eyes for Summer. And he goes along with her little plan, and just before she's able to pour that vodka into her coffee, Ronan shows up and stops her. Not only that, confiscates the liquor and walks Summer home to Phyllis. Doesn't take Fen home. We don't see him telling Michael that his son was caught in this situation and maybe trying to use that as a little leverage. No, he takes Summer straight back to Phyllis to be like, see, look how much I'm helping you again, Phyllis. Don't you just really want to screw me for as much as I'm helping you? It's so played up. Like, Ronan was looking at Summer like he wishes she was his. He's trying to come in and be the dad now. He was harder on her than I think Nick was, but he brings Summer home by her ear and tells Phyllis everything that happened, and Summer was being a brat. I'm telling you, I would smack that girl's face right off. I'm glad Nick grounded her. He took away her cell phone, her laptop, her tablet, took away everything. I hope they stick with that. She needs a little bit of a reality check. But to Nick, it's just one more thing that Phyllis has created. It's a snowball. Phyllis wants to, I mean, first of all, he's correct in that Summer can't blame her mother for her actions, but at the same time, Phyllis has brought this on the family. And so he walks out. He says he's moving back to the ranch. Don't expect me back. Here I go. And I think Phyllis was upset, but at the same time, she has a backup man now. She doesn't even need Nick, does she? She's got Ronan waiting in the wings. And as soon as everybody else is out of the house, she's there with Ronan, and they're having this moment where at first she's all, you know, I like you, but I don't like you. It's not good. We had lust, not love, which I think is true. And of course, Ronan's widow heart is quashed. And she also kind of accuses him of, oh, are you doing this just so that I'll have sex with you? And he's all offended, and then it leads to an embrace. And in that moment, that exact moment, Daniel, who has been informed by Summer about this affair, uses his key to walk right on into Phyllis's house. Rude! That's very rude. You don't just use your key and walk up in somebody's house. You didn't even knock. So Daniel walks in, gets an eyeful of all of this, and chastises Phyllis. Everybody's chastising her for having an affair with Ronan, when the bigger thing that she's done was the hit and run, and then disposing or moving Reed's body. Like, the affair is bad, but the other stuff she's done is worse. It's amazing how my feelings have changed for Phyllis. I really, really have liked her all through the years. Even all of the crazy stuff she's done, I've always really appreciated her still. Now, I am having a real hard time mustering up any kind of sympathy for Phyllis at all. I've come down to the other side of the camp. Just put her in jail. Lock her away. It'll help save her family. I'm tired of it. I'm tired of seeing her on screen. I really feel like she's just been overused. She needs to fall back into the background a little bit. She's an awesome character. She has a lot of potential, but dang, she don't have to be in every scene. She doesn't have to be in every week. She doesn't have to be interconnected with every single character. It's just too much. The most entertaining part, I thought, about the whole Phyllis thing this week was when she went to the coffee house and Billy quipped a little bit with her and she just picked up a drink and threw it on him. It was bad because the drink, it looked like it was old watery tea that had been sitting there for a while and she just threw it right in his face. But the interesting note was that as she did it, she made a little bit of a comment to Billy like, stay away from Summer. Don't talk to Summer at all. If you print my daughter's name, you're going to have me to deal with, or I'm going to come at you with everything I've got. And that to me just says foreshadowing. I think that Billy's out there looking for a story and Summer is really ticked off at her mom. So I wouldn't be at all surprised if the next guest we see on Restless Style TV is Summer telling all about Phyllis. Well, let's wrap up here by just talking about the behind the scenes stuff. Let's talk about the casting news. A lot has happened this week. 3 major characters have been let go. Genie Francis, Marcy Rylan, and Debbie Morgan, Genevieve, Abby, and Harmony, and it's a big deal. We also have Sofia dropping to reoccurring. We know that the head writer, executive producer, has changed at YNR recently, and we were pretty much predicting that there was gonna be some cuts, and it's looking like it's a bit of a bloodbath. You know, they always blame it on budget cuts. They specifically with both Abby and Genevieve's character, they said we're doing it because of budget cuts. But let's get real here, people. Those storylines weren't working. Genevieve's storyline was not working. Nobody was digging Harmony, and Abby hasn't done anything for a while. So I've had some time to process this. I've had a couple days to sit on it and think about it, and I feel like, so far the cuts that have been made needed to be made. There are definitely characters that I'm going to hate to see go. Ashley was probably the first. I know that was not the new regime, but you know, if it's a really big character, Nikki, Victor, Jack, something like that is really gonna tick me off, Neil. But at the same time, I feel like we need to trim fat. And so I thought I'd open up the question a little bit to you guys and ask you, who else do you think should go? If in your dream universe, you've got the axe, who do you cut? I think that, I mean, we've already talked about, like, Jeff and Gloria. We've talked a little bit about Summer and Fen. I think in the future, Summer and Fen could really have potential, but not now. I think Fen's not bad. Actually, the actor is not bad, but and now I don't know that we can focus on it. The summer is over. They're not really looking for that teen demographic, so I wonder if they're next. You know, honestly, the one thing that does worry me a little bit about Abby's character being gone is that it's not really reaching any 20-somethings. I think that the cast needs to be diverse. We need to have a little something for all of the age groups. And I can get down with teen storylines even if I'm not a teen. The Glow by Jabot kids, I was in it and I wasn't a teen. So I think that there's a way to you know, space things out to make things interesting over many different age groups to satisfy all of the different types of viewers. But I wonder if Summer and Fen need to go. But I worry about the 20-somethings too. Like Kyle and Eden, I don't care. I've never liked the new Kyle. He looks like he's 40 years old. Eden has been around for a long time and has done nothing. I think that finally, you know, like with the hypnosis, she tried to do her best. The actress tried to do her best, but they don't give her anything to go on. There's nothing. So I'm having a hard, like, if she's not going to be with Noah, I mean, there's no point, they're bringing Noah, you know, a new Noah on. We'll see where that goes. Maybe they're going to keep Eden around for a triangle, but I don't want to see Kyle anymore. I don't think the casting is right, and I don't buy him as Jack's son. I don't enjoy seeing him on screen, so I wish Kyle could definitely go. Eden is fine with me if she goes. Frankly, you guys, I feel like Daniel is skeevy. He's always kind of greasy. I don't trust him. I don't know. I'm not that into Daniel. And even though I have enjoyed new Heather, I think I enjoy her. I'm just so refreshed by the fact that they didn't get a sucky actress to play the role that I'm extra into it. But like, I'm kind of always more into it. Like, I want to look at the new Heather. I want to see where she's going. Daniel doesn't do as much for me. I'm sick of his weird ponytail that's like, folded under. I'm sick of all of his bracelets. He looks scummy, like greasy a lot. He's such a babe. Like, the actor is such a babe. They need to babe him up and like get him looking, yeah. Maybe it's just, I mean, that's a matter of opinion, but to me, Daniel can go, and if that means Heather had to go too, I'd be a little disappointed, but I really, honestly, wouldn't break my heart. At this point, I haven't felt anything for Kevin in a long time. I mean, I think he's funny. He's capable of comedy. I did enjoy him and Phyllis having their little comedic moment. But I've never been a fan of Kevin and Chloe. I think they made better friends than husband and wife. But Kevin just hasn't done anything for me in a really long time. So if he got cut from the scene, again, I wouldn't really shed a tear. The thing that scares me, though, truly, is Neil. I'm worried about what's going to happen with Neil. Like, I mean, we already kind of talked about it a little bit. They're cutting everyone in his family. He's a character that I don't want to see go, a character that I don't think that we'll see go. But with Lily gone, and also, I mean, with Genevieve gone, what's going to happen to Kane? Kane can't be long before he's gone. I mean, there's no Jill on the show. Where the heck's Jill? She's been gone for months and months, and Jill was his Genoa City mother. With Lily and Genevieve and Jill all gone, Kane has no connections to anyone except maybe his job at Gibeau. I have no clue what they're going to do with him. You know, I obviously want to see Tucker go. He makes me want to puke. If Harmony's going, I wouldn't be surprised if Devon was going, and Tucker should be right behind. I cannot see Tucker surviving these cuts. I don't think anybody likes him. Nobody seems to be that enthusiastic about him. I was, but that's all gone now with Ashley leaving. I just think he's next to go. And, like, here's the thing. I have been an Adam fan for a while. I really always liked the character of Adam. He always kept me engaged. At this point, Adam can go for all I care. I have no connection to Adam. I know it's shocking for me to say that because I've always been a fan, but I have no connection to him. I have no connection to Chelsea. I don't enjoy their scenes together. Adam is doing nothing but playing smoochy face for a month now, and I mean, I think Micah Mooney has total potential, and I would love it if they would actually do something with Adam's character. I wish they would do something compelling with Adam's character, and I'm perfectly content to sit tight and wait for that to happen. But if it doesn't happen, at this point where I am, if Adam left the show, I'd live. I could, because ultimately what I want is a focus with the show. I want to get to know the characters. I want them to focus in on the main people, the Newmans, the Abbotts, the Winners, the Williams. Those are the core characters. And yes, bring, you know, age kids if you need to, but ultimately I want a small, tight cast. I would just rather focus on characters and motivation and getting to know people rather than touching on 30 different characters and not really caring about anyone. Okay, everybody, that is gonna do it for me for this week. It's been a lot to talk about, a lot of storylines, a lot of casting. I have had my say, and now it's your turn, so please leave comment. Let me know what you think about all of the drama on screen and off. I'm looking forward to reading them. Okay, you guys, everybody take care. I'll see you next Sunday. Mwah. Bye.